Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I'm delighted to be here with the audience. I mean, you have a very, very popular podcast. Excellent. Thanks a lot. Absolutely, absolutely. When I mean, working, I have experience, of course, a medical doctor and experience in business. I was an executive in business, in pharmaceutical, and then I started observing how people behave based on, let's say, different personalities and different, I will say, inner voices that we all have. And then learning about how the brain works, I came with a, I like to say, the metaphor of different brains, because through evolution we were adding brains, we were not replacing brains. Today, and let me be clear, all of them are integrated, intertwined, and they work together, of course. But to explain in a more clear way all these different conversations that we have inside, I I understood that talking to different brains was the best way to do it. So here in upper head, through evolution, there were, we can say, three different brains. Very primitive one that is quite known, the reptilian, that is a survival mode. So it's a brain in charge of survival, period. But it's the oldest one. It's the one that has 500 million years in place. So that gives to this brain certain rights, let's say, over our behavior. The second one is what we call emotional brain or limbic. Don't get me wrong, emotions are all over the body, so the whole body sends emotions, but the headquarter of emotions are in this brain. I call it the second brain. The third is the newbie in the block, that is the rational one. And even though it's the one that gave us all the possibilities, the amazing possibility that we have AI and everything, and that we're able to be you in Singapore, I'm in Madrid, and we're communicating and we're talking and in presence of your audience. That's amazing. Even though we still don't trust this brain so much. So the one we trust the most is the reptilian one, the one of survival, because we know that that was one of the reasons that we are still alive as civilization. And the last two brains, number one is the heart. Why? Because there was a researchers that found out that we have neurons, same cells that in the brain in our heart. And our heart, beside all the romantic comments, is quite connected with emotions. I mean, it's a brain that I would say is an organ that reacts very deeply with our different emotions. And the last one is one brain that became quite trendy lately, that is a gut brain, the one that we have in our guts. In our guts, we have a complete nervous system that is able to help us in many situations. And I mean, many medical diseases from the gut are intimately related with emotions. I mean, you don't feel good, your issues are worse, and vice versa. What I'm trying to say is the combination of these five, we can define different narrative, different way of talking from each of them. If the one that is in charge of survival will just want to win and to survive, that's it, period. So he's a fighter all the time. The emotions depends, is a positive, is a negative, can help or not. The rational brain, even though is in some way the most powerful, is the less powerful connected with emotions. It's the one that's always responding to the other two, And then our gut connected with our intuitions, those kind of information that we have without knowing where the information is coming from. All this scene, I like to call it the internal team. And as a leader, to be able to lead outside, first we need to learn how to lead inside. So, how good are you managing your emotions? How good are you managing your instinct? How good are you responding to your team based on your different moods? Because we are quite a slave of our moods. I don't feel good, and I treat people in a bad way, or vice versa. So I don't know if I'm clear explaining myself, but this is the concept of the five brains and representing all this internal team that all of us we have. And as a leaders, we need to learn how to deal with them and how to lead them. Make sense? That is a great question, Johan, a great question. The analysis of whatever situation has to be done by the rational brain, period. But we know today that the possibility to action, to make it happen, is not located physically in the rational brain, is located in the emotional brain. In other words, human brain is not prepared to make 100% rational decision. So we need the whole system together to make a decision. The rational brain will arrive to conclusions, and the emotional brain will take action. So the decision making process, to make it happen, involves always some kind of emotions. So that is the key one in decision making processes. It's very hard, you have to accept this. It's very provocative, because executive or people in companies, they love to think that they are very rational. I'm very rational. And it's not true, because the human brain cannot make rational decisions, can make rational conclusions, and then the action will be led by the emotional brain. That is how it works. So if we learn that, we can leverage even better our emotions towards the best results. Exactly. Exactly. It's how you get the right balance. That I mean, we can talk about all cliche, know yourself better, I mean, because you need to understand who is talking inside of you. So who is in charge? Which part of you, which brain is in power in one moment or the other? Because the consequences will be different. And that is the key, I would say, the key challenge for leaders. It's a very good question. First of all, the question, and there is something I said without saying it. If we can identify all these narratives that from the different brains, means that the real me, the real self, or the higher self, can be in control. I can decide when to call one emotion, when to call, one instinct. I can decide that. And going back to your question, how to recognize that? I always, when I coach my clients, I say, ask yourself one question. When you don't know what's going on inside of you, the question is, what is your purpose? What is your goal? What is your objective regarding this conversation? What do you want? Do you want to arrive to the best conclusion? You want to arrive to a productive conclusion? Or just you want to win? You want to be the best because that is a different thing. So the question is, ask yourself what you want. What do you want? And that will help you to understand which part of you is in charge. If you really want to arrive to the best solution for whatever problem, you will listen properly, you will be flexible, you will accept others' suggestion, and that means that the healthy emotions are in place and are in charge. If I'm fighting every single comment that I listen, if I try to feel that I'm right all the time, is the reptilian brain in charge and never will take you to the best place or the best solution. Never. You need to know that. And you know it. In that moment that you say, I want to kill this guy, I want to win. I want to prove that I'm right. That is one parameter to understand that is not a conversation, it's a confrontation. And confrontations will never take you to the right place. I like to clarify always stress is normal. Stress is a physical system in our body that help us to deal with daily life. Too much stress is an issue. Too much stress, technically called distress, is when I cannot manage the situation. So, at the moment, I'm not managing the external pressure, my reptilian brain will be in charge because the signal I'm sending is I need to survive. you know so today, more than me for sure, there are many techniques to keep yourself in control when we receive this external pressure. I don't like to talk about how much the external world is pressing you because that is something happens every day. So we are under stressful situation every day. And you said something so important. When you are in a top position, there are two parameters that you will never be in charge. Number one, you will never have all the time in the world to solve the situation. You need to solve it now. Second, you will never have all the information. So you need to use your instinct and your intuition and everything that you learn and to solve it now. But the key question is, how good are you prepared to keep your inner control in those situations? So, what is your technique to deal with stressful environment? Today, there is a lot of things that are fashion. I mean, meditation, mindfulness came to the mainstream, and everybody talks about mindfulness. And don't get me wrong, it's fantastic, but all those things, they need a training that not necessarily people are prepared to do. When I work is with leaders, and everybody's stressed. No, that is wrong. Everybody's under pressure. Some of them can manage better than others the pressure, because that is the question. Stop dreaming that the external world will be peaceful. That's not going to happen. And at the moment that you accept that the external world is a world of pressure, is a VUCA world, I mean, that we talk all the time, in that moment, my only options is to control myself. Can we do it just like this? The answer is no. Learn some techniques. I teach a technique called, based on the sense. There are many. There are many techniques. In my books, there are a series of tricks, let's say, or tips on how to manage yourself. So it's never about how much pressure you receive from outside. Let's take it as a granted. The pressure will be there all the time. Then the question I ask to my clients is, okay, what are you planning to do with yourself regarding the external pressure? And I tell you, I'm very direct in my coaching practice. I say, do you want to quit? You want just to run away and go to an island and just do it. It's a choice. You don't want to do that and you want to keep dealing with this external pressure. Let's work on how to deal with that. And always there is a technique. Sometimes you need to take time out to think. Sometimes meditate. I meditate for 50 years, but let's be honest, it's not just you meditate and it's solved. It doesn't work that way. So you need to learn, you need to know yourself, you need to know many things until those inner techniques became useful. I use one is the rule of five that is very simple. It's based on the senses and is how to bring yourself to the present time. Another concept that I want to share with you. What we know regarding, let's say, anxiety as a response to the stressful world, right? Anxiety only can exist in myself if I am thinking about the past or about the future in a negative way. When I'm ruminated about, oh, I didn't do this, oh, I didn't finish that, blah, 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 I get anxious. When I'm thinking, oh my God, I have a meeting, I'm not prepared for the meeting, or I need to talk to this guy, I don't like this, then when I'm going to the future in a negative way, I'm opening the door for anxiety. Any techniques, there are many, to keep myself in the present time, here and now, close the door to anxiety, and I can deal better with the stress. So, what I teach to my clients is how to be in the present time. Bring the information to the past that you need, of course. Project to the future regarding what do you want to get, but stop thinking in a negative way about the past and about the future. Be in the present time because it's the only time that you can solve it, that you can prevent a negative future. And when no, because I have this meeting, or I have to present it, then okay, let's focus and tell me what do you need to do today to prevent that negative future. And it's amazing, because you see it in their face. I say, okay, so stop thinking about the future, start working today. Let's focus on today. Let's focus on the how. And normally they find a way. I guide them, let's say, I help them, I support them, but normally they find a way. But the secret is to be in the present time. It's always today. And I know, again, I know it's a cliche, but it's the only truth. It's the only thing we have. Can I prevent any negative future? The answer is not. Can I be better prepared for negative future? The answer is yes. So let's prepare yourself for how to face a negative, let's say, non-comfortable future. But that's today. Let's do it now. This is a fantastic question, and we can take hours to respond. But I tell you, there is a let's go with the definition first. There is a misunderstanding. Everybody talks about gut instinct. I like to call it gut intuition. That is not the same, because instinct is very primitive. Instinct means I feel in danger, I run away or I fight. No, fight, flight, or freeze. Instinct is not the right word, even though we use it all over the places. Even in my book, in the title, I was fighting the publishing, saying it's no instinct, it's intuition. They say no, everybody understand instinct. Okay, I had to accept it. It doesn't exist. Listen to this, because I do a lot of assessment to top executive. It doesn't exist a successful leader that doesn't trust their guts. I I know it's provocative what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is those top and successful leaders, all of them, they learn to listen to the information that comes from their gut, metaphorically talking. That information is not magic. I love magic, but it's no magic. That information I like to explain to these people is an algorithm. It's like Google. The body storage all the information that we receive from outside permanently. One way to arrive to conclusions is doing a rational analysis. I think this one plus one, but this is the rational analysis. But another source of information that is more powerful even is the intuition. That is based on all this knowledge that we already have. But the only thing we receive is the solution. You know, these people that say, hey, I'm facing this problem. Many times, my clients say, my team was working 3 days to solve whatever, and they say, we need to go right. My gut are telling me we need to go left. And they say, I don't know how to explain it to them. And my coaching advice is don't explain it to them, just wait, because in the gut we don't have the alphabet to explain it. So wait, just wait. But it doesn't mean that is wrong. You ask how accurate that information is. I want to be cautious, and I will say the information that comes from our gut is a very powerful source of information. Listen to it. Is 100% right? Maybe not. But then I will challenge you. Is the rational analysis always right? Not necessary. So that's why I like to put it at the same level. Do the rational analysis and listen to your gut. Then compare. And then you can arrive to the best solution. So the answer to your question is the intuition that everybody calls instinct is another source of very, very trustworthy information that will help you to make the final decision. Some people are very, very high in intuition. Those people, they know I need to follow my gut all the time. Certain type of people. Most of the people, they will say, I receive information from my gut, I do the rational analysis, and then I compare. And then I combine the two of them. So I like to say it's like the external team. Listen to everyone in the team, and then you can arrive to the best solution. Make sense? Or it's too complicated? I don't know. You're totally right, because we need to differentiate. I don't want to get into the weeds regarding Daniel Kahneman, System One, System Two, that he was a Nobel Prize in economics, whatever. The answer to your question is not simple. The answer to your question is intuition is an information that will come like this and normally is a different proposal of solution. If the information that comes to you right away is about fighting or running away, that's not intuition, that is instinct. Makes sense what I'm saying? I'm saying you need to, it's so good your question because you need to differentiate that information that is a survival reaction from the information that is an intuitive reaction. These two different things. To be honest, there are two different places in the brain. One is always responding to fight, flight, or freeze. If I recognize the pattern, this is not what I need. The other information always will bring a different perspective from the problem. That is the one I need to listen. And that requires a training. I work with my clients, training them. Like I say, okay, listen, you are facing X situation, whatever. And I'm sure that you have a solution right away. Write it down. Just write it down. Don't follow. Then do all the analysis and then read that information again. And they start learning the pattern when really it's an intuitive and helpful response or it's a survival response, you know? And I said, that solution that came right away is about fighting, flying, or freeze, or is about a different perspective, to a different way to see the problem. That is one parameter to identify and differentiate one from the other. Make sense? Wow, wow, we are going to fantastic places with your question. I love it. Another thing that we need to accept, biases are part of our brain, impossible to delete them. What we can learn is how to deal with them, how to recognize and how to work with our biases. But when I read about training on eliminating your biases, I laugh. I laugh my head off because I say you cannot. Biases were it was is based on information that we have inside of ourselves for millions and millions of years. Biases and stereotypes and prejudice are all on the same bucket. Biases were useful to us in the past. Today, we live in a different world. Then biases are not helping. Biases are located in the most primitive brain, in the reptilian and the negative emotions, let's say. Biases is about I need to feel safe. And biases, by definition, is a mistake, is an error in the way to analyze things. And we can talk hours. I have one workshop, well, it's in the book about biases, by the way. But and we are so much blind to our biases that we take as normal. I teach neuromarketing in MBAs. I teach neuro leadership and neuromarketing, and and I help to understand to my students that many of marketing messages are taking advantage of biases because you cannot escape to them. unless you are aware of. Going back to your question, biases is a wrong approach by definition. But if we are not aware of the biases, we will fall all the time on the biases. And the biases are not taking us to the best productive place. Never. Confirmation bias. Let's talk about one of the most common. I already have an opinion about a situation, X situation, and I start talking with others. I only will listen arguments that will confirm my previous understanding. I'm not challenging my position. That is called the confirmation bias. So I always listen any information that will help me to stay in my position. Makes sense? So no flexibility. I cannot go to a different place. I'm not able to open myself and have a better solution. I just need to prove I'm right. And there are tons of them, more than 200. Wow, love it. Biases are connected with belief. The answer is yes. But biases, I'm really playing hard here, are wrong beliefs, are beliefs that are not helping us to grow, don't helping us to the inner grow as a human being. That's it. One concrete example. The hiring processes that happens in every company. I give a concrete example in organization. We need to hire a new member in my team. Still today, it's interesting, it doesn't exist a hiring process that will be 100% without biases. But I need to know that because there is a very common mistake. When I start talking with a potential candidate, what my instinct and bias will try to look is for similarity with me. And then my mind will say, wow, this person really will match with my team. The real concept is this person is matching with me. Then I'm not bringing different perspective to my team. I'm just building up on the same thing. The bias in the hiring process happens all the time. That's why it's important that many people will interview the same candidate to see different perspective. This is a concrete example, for instance. I can give you many, but I don't know. But this is something that happens to everyone. I mean, no, we need to find a person that will share the spirit of my team. Take care. You are finding a person that is similar to you. Then you are not bringing diversity in your team, a possibility of different perspectives. Biases are blind spots always. Therefore, how to deal with biases? I need you. The best way to deal with biases is called group intelligence. So we need to work in a team. When I coach team regarding biases, we establish a rule. The rule is anyone can call out biases of other person and help to see it because I cannot see it. I'm so convinced about this. Make sense? If you need to work by yourself, where I coach people how to deal with biases yourself, there is one rule. At the moment you arrive to a conclusion for whatever problem you have or challenge, right away think in the opposite solution, exactly the opposite. And you will see that your mind will do like this. Because sometimes the first conclusion is based on biases. Go to the opposite. Define the opposite, like if somebody's challenging you with the opposite. And it's impressive how people say, I didn't think about that because I was convinced that it was the only way. Now, I can think in a different way. That is what we need. Diversity is about diversity of thoughts, not external diversity. And by sorry, just one comment, if you don't mind. Biases are based in one very basic rule of the reptilian brain, the primitive one. The rule is whatever looks differently than me, talks different than me, has different taste than me, is potentially danger, doesn't belong to my tribe. This is the basic concept. That's why I'm a fanatic of internet. I'm a fanatic of of technology because now we can interact with people all over the world. And then our reptilian brain is getting a new training, is learning that external differences is not bad, is good. Makes sense what I'm saying, but it's a learning process. And you need to be mindful and aware of that. You need to say, no, 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 I'm judging because that person looks differently than me. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but I need to learn. I love because the new generation, they interact with people all over the world and they say, it's my friend. I remember my son when he was young, in one moment, my son living in Argentina, he told me, I have a friend in Singapore. Singapore. And I said, you don't have a friend in Singapore. Of course, he was playing game online with somebody in Singapore. And I said, this is fantastic that he has the feeling that is because they share a common taste, a common things to do because they want to play games online. Okay, but the feeling is I'm a friend of somebody in Singapore or somebody in Vietnam or some because we have same interest, and that is fantastic. That is the way that the world is trying to help us to deal with biases. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But again, the first question is always the first question is when they say I need to hire a candidate, whatever. My question is send me the job description because this is important. I don't care about the technicalities, what this person should know, because this is a credentials. What I care is about what is the description of the personality they are looking for. And then I challenge them saying, hey, you're looking for somebody that is quite similar to your team member. Yeah, because he needs to. No, 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 no. You need somebody that will be different and bring a different perspective. And then you need to rewrite your job description. you know? Exactly. I love. Come on, you're really informed. You know what you're talking about. I love your question. Normally, we talk about time management, and time management is the wrong target. Absolutely nobody on earth can manage time. Time is the fixed factor in the equation. Time is about 24 hours here in Singapore, in Argentina, in whatever you want in the world. Absolutely no human being can manage time. What the body does all the time is managing energy. That is called allostasis. It's a technical term. What the body does is, I feel with energy, I do more. I feel low in energy, I do less. This is a very simplistic way to explain it. So the body is managing energy all the time. Then, what I need to learn is what will bring me more energy and how to deal with a low level of energy. So, how to recharge my batteries. And all of us, we have different ways. That is the focus, and that is when I will leverage time better. Make sense? So I will take advantage of time if I know better how to manage my energy. This is not a touchy feely concept, this is a concrete fact. For instance, during the day, we have different cycles in the body. There are times in the day that we have more energy and times in the day that we have less energy. So, if you know that about yourself, when those times are, please don't spend too much time during the low level of energy because you will not be productive. And on those moments that you are high in energy, wow, those are the moments you need to really, really work. And at the moment you can follow those cycles, productivity will go to the roof. It's learning how to dance with the normal cycles of energy during the day of my body. No, there are two. No, it's a good point. There are two basic cycles during the day. One is called the circadian, that is longer. Is a peak of energy in the morning, lowest level of energy at noon, and the energy goes up during the afternoon. This cycle is long, and there are two type of people that has the peak, the maximum peak of energy in the morning, and people that have the maximum peak of energy in the afternoon. I'm an owl, I'm an afternoon guy. I'm not the morning guy, for instance. So then I learned that when I learned that, I do all my tough work, I do it in the afternoon, never in the morning. And the second cycle is called the ultradian, means it's shorter. It's called the 90-20 minutes cycle. The brain, and this happens to all of us, every, okay, not 90 minutes exactly, every 2 hours, let's say, hour and a half, 2 hours, will stop the system, will shut down the system for 15 minutes. So those are the moment I'm not productive. I need to read the document again and again and again. I don't understand and I feel stupid. No, 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 no. Your brain is doing a different work. During the 90 minutes or an hour and a half, you can work very well. Stop then. That's my recommendation. Stop every 100 minutes and do something lighter that will not demand too much energy for your brain. Because your brain is very busy doing a very specific task that is organizing the files inside of your brain. Everything that you were doing during the active time, the brain needs to organize it and to put it in different files. It's saving, and that's a way to save energy. And then it's like the computer. It's the same that pressing save in the computer, and the computer organize all the information. The brain does the same every 2 hours. We like it or not. So if I can organize my day to work, let's say 2 hours and to rest 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and normally we do something like that, it's amazing how much productive we become. It's very simple, following the regular cycles during the day. Yeah. Yeah. I think that you ask a fantastic question, to be honest. And as a conclusion, I will say you don't need to become a psychologist. You need just to observe yourself. Observe yourself. When do you feel with more energy? In the morning, afternoon. You're right, because depends how good or bad your sleep was. That also depends. I don't want to go there, but if you slept really bad, forget it. You will be sleepy in the morning. That's it. Period. Remember that now we know that the brain needs between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. There's no way that with 5 hours will be okay. That's no way. And I know that people don't take so much time to sleep. So, but I don't want to go there because it's another topic, to talk about all the healthy practice. Let's talk about now. My recommendation to your audience is observe yourself, identify your inner voices. Which one is fighting all the time? Which one is looking for a positive emotion? Which one is doing the rational analysis? Which one is sending information that you don't know where it's coming from? This is intuition. But wow, it's good information, you know? So start identifying all these inner characters. And then you can be in control better, and you will be a lot more productive and feeling a lot more better. Second conclusion, stop thinking in a negative way about the past or about the future. Take the past as information, take the future as a planning. This is, of course, but don't create stories that most of the time never happen. And identify a technique that will keep you in the present time. Sometimes listen to a music that bring you to the present time. Sometimes watching some video that will bring you to the present time. Sometimes it's an inner technique of repeating a mantra, repeating something that is important to you. There are many ways. And you need to find your way. There is no one way. What is your way? And you will see right away when you can keep yourself in the present time, this feeling of release, no more anxiety, and I can deal with external stress in a better way. Another conclusion is stop expecting that the outside world will be calm someday. That's not going to happen. I tell you. So choose where you want to be. You want to change your work, that's okay. You want to change your activity, you want to be in a different place, it's all your choice. But let's be mindful, the only thing you can manage is yourself. You cannot manage external work. It doesn't depend on you. There are many, many factors. Don't waste time and energy on that. So focus on things that you can manage. And in one word is yourself. That you can manage. Uh, there are two ways. That's simple. I mean, my website, www.carlosdavidovich.com. You can find me in LinkedIn. It's very easy. I mean, Carlos Davidovich in neuromanagement in LinkedIn, and I always respond to any mail or any communication. I love to have this kind of conversation with whoever is interested in the same topics. And the book, of course, is in every I mean Amazon and everything all over the world, so you can buy it online. Very simple. Love it because it's an amazing book about an assessment of personality. It's amazing. Now, it's to define personality style based on your DNA. It's really powerful, but it's a different conversation. Why?